Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Nitu Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful association to us. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group, all dear devotees. Before we start our today's session, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. When we come to the platform of understanding that I am not this body, I am soul, then my occupational duty changes. At the present moment, we are all working on the platform of bodily concept of life. But when you come to the platform of understanding that Aham Brahmasmi, I am not this matter, I am spirit soul, then my occupational duty changes. Not that is my real occupational duty because I am really spirit soul. Srila Prabhupada, New Vrindavan, uh, September 4. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. So today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Devi Dasi Mataji on the topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata Antya Khanda, chapter number 2, verse number 302 onwards. Thank you very much, Mataji. Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving your very beautiful time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. Now I hand over call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you for your association. And thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us in this mid-morning session of Chaitanya Bhagavat. And also, very auspicious days are going on. We know that from Ekadashi to Bhadra Purnima is also known as the world's Holy Name Week, because so many festivals are lined up every day. So we are really fortunate. So let's start our Mangalacharan prayers. And because today is Shivamana Dev appearance, Shivamana Dwadashi, and also the
Dadashi Mataji.
Happy Vamana Dwadashi. And also today is the appearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami. So we'll glorify both of them and then we'll go ahead with our Chaitanya Bhagavat session. So we'll start with our Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाबदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावधातौ सङ्कीर्तने कपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ जयति जयति देवा कृष्ण चैतन्य चन्द्रो जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्य पवित्र जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेश्वमूर्ते जयति नृत्यं तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्गायते गिरिं यत्कृपातं हं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for your wonderful association. So as we already mentioned, 1 minute, I have to go. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So as I already mentioned that this entire week is also known as the Holy Name, World Holy Name Week. Why it is known as? Because first of all, we have Ekadashi, then today we have Vamana Dwadashi, and apart from that, today is also the appearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami. And then tomorrow, again, it's a very auspicious day. We have the appearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then we have the disappearance day of Srila Haridas Thakur. And finally, we have a Bhadra Purnima. That is, it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that anyone who gives Srimad Bhagavatam, gifts Srimad Bhagavatam on this Bhadra Purnima to anyone on that golden throne, then his destination is confirmed in the spiritual world. The seat is confirmed. And also, it's Bhadra Purnima, and also our Prabhupada, our dear Srila Prabhupada, accepted his sannyas on this Bhadra Purnima. So this entire week is very, very auspicious. And today, as already we mentioned, that today is Vamana Dwadashi, and also today is the appearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami. We'll just in few minutes glorify them, and then we'll go ahead with our Chaitanya Bhagavata. So Jayadev Goswami in his Dashavatar Stotra, he mentions, Chalayasi Vikramane Balimadbhuta Vamana Padanakhanirajanita Janapavana Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare. So he mentions that Keshava, that Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, he comes as Vamana Rupa. And what he does in that pastime, Chalayasi Vikramane Balim Adbhuta Vamana. Though he is dwarf, he came as a Brahmana and he assumed that dwarf Brahmana, but he deceived who? Bali Maharaj. He deceived Bali Maharaj. And finally, we know this pastime, we'll not go in detail. And Padanakha Neer, and through his lotus feet, nails of his lotus feet, he emanated, he pierced that covering, that Viraja river, and finally the Ganga came out. So Padanakha Neer Janita, that Ganga flowed for what? Jana Pavana, to purify all the living entities. That Ganga water emanated from the nails of the lotus feet. That's why Ganga is also known as the Charanamrit of the Supreme Lord. Keshavadrita, Vamana Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hari. So, wish you all a very, very happy Vamana Dwadashi. Fasting was done yesterday. So, today is the day of feasting. Now, moving ahead, also today is the appearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, we know that he is the nephew. He's the son of, anyone knows his father's name? He was the son of? He was the nephew of?
Nephew of
Sanatana
Goswami.
Goswami.
And Srila Goswami. And his
Sanatana
father.
Goswami.
He's the son of Anupam Goswami.
Anupama.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neetu Mataji. He was the son of Anupama. So he was the son of Anupama, also the nephew of Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Later, he received initiation from Srila Rupa Goswami, we know. So first, he met Gaura Sundar in Ramakeli. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, when they were serving as Dabir Khas and Sarkar Malik, that time they came to know that Mahaprabhu has come and he has come to Ramakeli. At that time, they took their nephew, Jiva Goswami, and Mahaprabhu, what he did, he gave his darshan and also he put his head on the, or his foot on the head of Srila Jiva Goswami. He was just a baby at that time. But then just by putting his lotus feet on the head of that child, Mahaprabhu indicated that he is going to be the future preceptor of this Gaudiya Sampradaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, one of his purport, he writes that as per Gaur Ganesh Deshdipika, Srila Jiva Goswami, he is Vilasa Manjari Gopi. So he is a Gopi and his name is Vilasa Manjari. So we have this Manjari Sampradaya in which we belong to. So we know that Srila Jiva Goswami then developed this desire to go to Vrindavan after his father passed away. So he was the first one who also took the opportunity to come in contact with Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu took him to this entire Navadip Parikrama. And from that day, this Navadip Parikrama started. But then he got this desire to go to Vrindavan, to Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And when he came to Vrindavan, Srila Rupa Goswami said, no, right now you are not fully educated to stay in Vrindavan. So he sent him to Banaras under Madhusudan Vachaspati, where he finished his Sanskrit studies. And finally, he came back to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And he was the personal servant of Srila Rupa Goswami. And we know that how when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita, at that time Srila Jiva Goswami was personally present. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also regarded Jiva Goswami as his Shiksha Guru. And later, Jiva Goswami, he inspired the first three book distributors, the team of the first three book distributors, that was Srinivasa Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamananda Pandit. Rupa Goswami himself carved the deity of Sri Radha Damodar, Sri Damodar ji, and he gifted to Srila Jiva Goswami. So in Vrindavan, we have a beautiful Radha Damodar temple, and we know Srila Prabhupada stayed there before marching his thing to coming to West. He stayed in Radha Damodar. And this Radha Damodar actually was worshipped by Srila Jiva Goswami. So this is all about Srila Jiva Goswami. And of course, we know that how many books he wrote. He wrote so many sandarbhas. And he's very scholarly, though he's the youngest of all the Goswamis, all the 6 Goswamis. But as per his scholar, nobody can defeat him. So moving ahead to our Caitanya Bhagavat, Srila Jiva Goswami ki jai. So I'll just share my screen of Caitanya Bhagavat and then we will continue. Okay. So we are supposed to start with 302, but a very quick recap, very, very quick, that Vrindavan Das Thakur has mentioned in Caitanya Bhagavat about the Dandabhanga pastime we already saw. And then Mahaprabhu was very upset and he said, let me go all by myself. So Vrindavan Das Thakur has described in detail about all the villages that he crossed and how he came to Orissa finally. And we also saw that tax collecting pastime where he actually gave mercy on those tax collectors. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, again, he says that I don't want to compete with Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. And therefore, he says he didn't describe much about the journey of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Shantipur to Bhubaneswar, to Orissa, to Jagannath Puri. Because he said that Jiva Goswami, Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Caitanya Bhagavat has already described in detail. So I will just give a synopsis. So he just gave the synopsis, but through Caitanya Bhagavat, we came to know that how in detail how he crossed, which all villages came, and finally he crossed. And that we have seen in detail in day before yesterday's class, and yesterday also, His Grace Prahladananda Prabhu also covered it. So Mahaprabhu was proceeding forward to Jagannath Puri with 5 of his devotees, and each day Mahaprabhu would personally go to the village and he will beg alms and he will liberate all those householders, those who will give alms to Mahaprabhu. And then Jagadananda Pandit will be involved in preparing all the prasadam. Many rivers also came on the way, and finally we saw that tax collecting pastime where the tax collectors did not hinder the Lord, but finally Mahaprabhu gave mercy to them, and finally Mahaprabhu reached the village of Remuna. So this is the verse that we have to start with. Though I think so, these 2 verses were covered by Sri Prahladananda Prabhu yesterday, but still we will just do quick revision of it. Bhagyavati Mahanadi Jalakari Snana Ailina Prabhu Sakshi Gopalarasthana. So Mahaprabhu, he took snan, he took bath in Bhagyavati river, in Mahanadi river, and finally he came to the temple of Sakshi Gopal. So देखी साक्षी गोपालर लावण्य मोहना आनंद करेना प्रभु हुंकार गर्जना. Upon seeing the sweet enchanting form of Sakshi Gopal, the Lord roared loudly in ecstasy. So when Mahaprabhu came to the temple, first he came to the temple of Remuna, and then we know that how in Remuna also, when Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances to the lotus feet of Gopinath. So after that tax collecting pastimes comes the pastimes of Remuna village, where Mahaprabhu saw the lotus feet of Gopinath deity. And as soon as Mahaprabhu paid his obeisances at the lotus feet of Gopinath deity, the helmet of that flower came, and which is on the head of Gopinath, it fell down and it landed on the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and all the devotees, they started chanting. And then Mahaprabhu, he stayed at that night, he stayed at the temple of Gopinath. All this has not been described by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, but Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that whatever has been missed by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I will tell in detail. So then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explained that how Mahaprabhu stayed in that village in Ramuna. And there, Mahaprabhu was very eager to have the remnants of that sweet rice which is offered to that Gopinath deity. And this narration of Madhavendra Puri and Gopinath stealing that pot of rice kheer for Madhavendra Puri, and this entire pastime, definitely I'll not go in detail, but that entire pastime has been very beautifully narrated by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Mahaprabhu also heard this pastime from his spiritual master, Srila Ishwara Puri Pad, that how Madhavendra Puri came and how this Gopinath, he stole this pot of rice, kheer rice. Kheer means the sweet rice. And he actually stole that sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. And therefore, from that day onwards, he is also known as Kheerichora Gopinath. He became famous had stolen the pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. Finally, walking, Mahaprabhu came to Yajapur and he came to the river Vaitarani, where he saw the temple of Adi Varahadev. That also we saw, and he offered his obeisances to Adi Varahadev. And that night also, Mahaprabhu spent that time in Adi Varahadev temple. And then Mahaprabhu went to Kattak. From there, he went to Kattak to see the temple of Sakshi Gopal. So this is the verse, what he's saying, that after taking bath, so from Ramuna, he went to Adi Varaha temple, and from Adi Varaha temple, he came to Kattak. In this way, Gaura Sundar traveled in great ecstasy for a few days, and then he arrived at Kattak. In Kattak, he bathed in the sacred Mahanadi river, and then he went to the temple of Sakshi Gopal. So that night, Mahaprabhu stayed in that temple of Sakshi Gopal along with all the devotees, and he heard the narration of Sakshi Gopal with great pleasure. So from whom he heard? It was Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Because Nityananda Prabhu, when he was for 12 years, he was in separation with Mahaprabhu, and that Lakshmipati Tirtha came, that Brahmana came and took Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu traveled all over India, and he went to different places of pilgrimage. At that time also, Nityananda Prabhu came to Cuttack, and there he came and saw this Sakshi Gopal. So he heard the story from the people there of this pastime of Sakshi Gopal at Cuttack. So now, when Mahaprabhu was there in that Sakshi Gopal temple, Nityananda Prabhu, he narrated the entire pastime to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody felt really very happy. And this pastime also was narrated by Praladananda Prabhu yesterday. So we'll not go in detail about this pastime, that how the Sakshi Gopal came to be known as Sakshi Gopal. So this Sakshi Gopal temple was in Vidyanagar, and he accepted their service for a long time. So now, upon seeing the sweet enchanting form of Sakshi Gopal, the Lord roared loudly in ecstasy. So there it is being mentioned that Mahanadi river flows on the northern side of Cuttack, and the deity of Sakshi Gopal was in Cuttack during the time of Sriman Mahaprabhu. So previously Sakshi Gopal was in Vidyanagar. Then from Vidyanagar, how it came to Cuttack, that we will see. Because later, after the disappearance of Sri Mahaprabhu, this deity of Sakshi Gopal was first brought to the temple of Jagannath, and later it was installed in a separate village. Prabhu Bali Namaskara Karena Stavana Adbhuta Karena Prema Ananda Kradana. The Lord cried out, Prabhu. So he's calling out Prabhu to whom? To Sakshi Gopal, to Gopal deity. And the Lord is crying out, Prabhu, Prabhu. And he offered his obeisances and his prayers. And then what he did? Adbhuta Karena Prema Ananda Krandana. And he started crying out of ecstatic love for Gopal, that how the Gopal became a witness for that Brahmana, how the Supreme Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. He is always under the control of his pure devotees. So now Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, in his commentary, he writes that Sakshi Gopal was previously situated in Cuttack on the bank of Mahanadi River. And when Sakshi Gopal was first brought from South India, that is from Vidyanagar, he stayed in some time for Cuttack, and then he stayed for some time in the Jagannath temple in Purushottama. After having some quarrel took place, and the king of Orissa established the village of Satyavadi 6 miles from Purushottama and kept Sakshi Gopal there. At present, Sakshi Gopal is being worshipped in a full-fledged temple. For a description of Sakshi Gopal, one should read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So actually what happened is that Sakshi Gopal, he stayed in Vidyanagar just to give, after giving the witness to that Brahmana. And finally, that marriage happened. He testified to the promise that was given by the elderly Brahmana. And the marriage happened, was performed, and a big temple was constructed for Gopal. So Sakshi Gopal stayed in Vidyanagar. Later, there was a fight, and this country was conquered by King Purushottama Deva, and he was from Orissa. So the king was victorious over the king of Vidyanagar, and finally he took possession of the throne, and that throne was known as Manikya Simhasana, because it was a big Asimhasan, it was a big throne, and it was bedecked with many jewels. Mani se जुड़ा हुआ था वो, मणि लगी हुई थी. So it was known as Manikya Simhasanam. So he was also a great devotee, and he begged at the lotus feet of Gopal, Sakshi Gopal, that please come to my kingdom. And when the king begged at that time, the Gopal, who was already obliged for his devotional service, he accepted his prayer. And finally, the king took the Gopal deity and went back and came to Cuttack. So after winning over the king Purushottama Kshetra, he took Purushottam Deva, he took that deity to Jagannath Puri and presented it to Lord Jagannath. So today also it is being installed at Cuttack, and the queen of Purushottama Deva, she one day went to see this Gopala deity. And as soon as that queen of Purushottama Deva, she had a very valuable pearl with her. And as soon as she saw the deity of Gopal, she wished, oh, I wish I could present this beautiful pearl so that Gopal can wear on his nose. So if there could be any hole in the deity's nose, then she was thinking that I could present this beautiful pearl to him. So this way she had that desire, but then she finally paid her obeisances and returned back to her palace. And that night, this Sakshi Gopal, this Gopal, he appeared in her dream and he spoke. And he said that during my childhood, my mother Yashoda, she made a hole in my nose. And she used to set a pearl in my nose. So that hole is still there. And if you want, you can use it. And you have this desire to present that pearl to me, so you can do it. So later in the morning, that queen, she explained entire pastime, entire dream that she had to her husband. And finally, both the king and the queen, they went to the temple with that pearl. And as soon as they went, they saw that there is a hole in the nose of that deity. And they set the pearl there, and finally they held a very great festival. So since then, Sakshi Gopal is situated in the city of Cuttack, and he is known as Sakshi Gopal only. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this beautiful narration from Nityananda Prabhu, and all the devotees also heard, and everybody felt very pleased. Then Vrindavan Das Thakur, he describes in 305, Yara mantre sakala murtite vaishya prana, say Prabhu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Nama. Very beautiful verse where Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that what is this deity worship? This deity, they are non-different from Krishna. Like it's an offense to consider that the deity is made up of some wood, metal, marble. Yes, apparently they are made up of. But once that prana pratishtha happens, Once that prana, that life fear is invoked in that form, the deity form of the Lord, then it's an offense to consider that the deity is made up of wood or a paint or a marble or a metal and so on and so forth. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur in his purport writes that the symptom of invoking life in the deity form of the Supreme Lord is by chanting Mahamantra. So as per Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So without chanting of the holy names, the concept that the Archa Vigraha is made up of stone does not disappear. So the rules and regulations for the worship, it happens. So we know that how when Prabhupada installed Krishna Balram and also Shri Radha Shyamasundar in our Vrindavan ISKCON temple, Prabhupada called all the Brahmanas, and that entire process of doing Pran Pratishtha happened. But Prabhupada said that behind, means at one corner, he made sure that 24 hours Mahamantra is going on. So he said that all these obligations that are being done, that is the calling the Brahmanas and following the procedures, because it's a 3 or 7 days procedure of installing a deity in the temple. Okay, so a lot of rules and regulations are there. So Prabhupada said that's okay, but that is for people in general, because they know that, okay, this big installation festival is happening. But Prabhupada said that I am interested that this Kirtan, Mahamantra, holy name should not stop. So 24/7, Prabhupada made sure that Mahamantra is going on and it should not stop. As along with it, yes, all the priests, they were performing whatever rituals they have to do. And finally, the Pran Pratishtha happened. So Prabhupada says that Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is writing the rules and regulations for worship that Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dev prescribed according to the concepts of Krishna Varanam Tusha Krishnam. He is known as Krishna Varanam. Why Krishna Varanam? Because he was always, the name of Krishna was always on his tongue. He was always calling out the names of Krishna. Verse consists of lively and proper worship of the Lord's deity based simply on chanting the Mahamantra. Wherever the Lord's service is performed without the physical involvement of the worshipper, or wherever the worship is performed as a matter of formality, such worship and such deities are devoid of life. So it's an offense, like if we don't worship the deities properly. So Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying that even in the temple, if proper rules and regulations are not followed, if the priest or the pujari is not performing the worship by wholeheartedly and is just doing as a matter of formality, then such worship, such deities, they are devoid of life. In one of the country, I came to know that, I think so it's in Japan, I came to know that the pujaris, they are paid there. Means the pujaris are called, they are done, they are being told that, okay, you have to do this time arati, this time bhoga, and then they are get paid for all the services. And if somehow one pujari doesn't show up, another pujari says that, oh no, my job is done. I'm being paid, my job is done, and I cannot show up for the next arati. So this is like a job you are doing in some corporate world. That, okay, I will do my job from A to B, what have already been assigned to me. But that doesn't happen for the deities. The deities, we should feel responsible that even if somebody doesn't show up, it's my duty if I'm there. And if I'm eligible, then I should perform this duty. So it should not be done as a matter of formality. And wherever such worship is done, Prabhupada is writing that such deities are devoid of life. They are simply murtis, they are archa vigraha, they don't have life in them. But chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra preached by Sri Gaura Sundar is the topmost lively form of worship for a worshipper. So even when it has been instructed that, the Brahmanas, when they do arati in the temple, they have to chant certain mantras when they offer doodh, dheep, and flower or a cloth or a chamar or a peacock fan, they have to chant the Bija mantra of that deity, whether they are offering it to Radha Krishna or Gaur Nitai or Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. And along with that, they have to offer a mantra, that whatever they are offering. So the Bija mantra and this mantra together has to be chanted. But again, like it is being explained, a Brahmana should do it when the Brahmana performs an arati. But at the same time, if Mahamantra is being chanted, it is the topmost lively form of worship for the worshipper. So it's okay, like it's always recommended that we should chant that mantra. But even if we skip sometimes or we forget or we just focus on Mahamantra, that is also okay. It's the topmost lively form of worship for a worshipper. And especially those who are not Brahman initiated and they have deities at home. So definitely they have no adhikar of chanting that Bija mantras. So the best way of worship is to chant Mahamantra whenever they offer something. So that is what, and that Mahamantra is given by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So say Prabhu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chandranama. So that same personality, that Archa Vigraha, that form, that Krishna when he comes as Archa Vigraha, has now come as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 306. Tathapi niravadhi kare dasya lila avatara haila haya ehi mata khela. Yet in this incarnation, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord always relished in acting pastimes as a servant because he comes as Bhakta, as not as Bhagavan Bhav, but in a Bhakta Bhav, to explain all his devotees that how to be a devotee. So Mahaprabhu himself comes. He says as Krishna Sardharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. But how to do that Sharanam, how to give away all the dharmas and totally focus Mamekam Sharanam, that he just spoke, Krishna just spoke. But finally he came to teach all of us personally, taking our hand, teaching us personally how to surrender as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is coming, the same Lord is coming, just enacting as a pastime of a servant. After that, so he went to Ramuna, he went to Sakshi Gopal, he spent one night in Ramuna, one night in Sakshi Gopal. Tabe Prabhu Ailana Shri Bhuvaneshwara, Gupta Kashi Vasayatha Karena Shankara. And then Mahaprabhu, he came to Bhuvaneshwar temple. Shri Bhuvaneshwar he came, and Bhuvaneshwar is the capital of Orissa. So he went to Bhuvaneshwar, he came to Bhuvaneshwar, and there he saw Gupta Kashi, where Lord Shankar resides. So why it is known as Gupta Kashi? We know that Lord Shankar, he resides in Varanasi. So this area, Bhuvaneshwar, where Lord Shankar resides, is known as Gupta Kashi, in a Gupta form. Okay. Now this description has been elaborated by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. So what we will do is we will read line by line because it's a story. So it's a complete story, and if you hear it, you will get to know why it is known as Gupta Kashi. So this description of the holy place of Sri Bhuvaneshwar is found in Sarvanadri Mahodaya, Ekamra Puran, Skanda Puran, and all other Sanskrit Puranas also. So it's a bona fide story. It is coming from the Puranas. In those literatures, this place is addressed, which place? This place of Gupta Kashi in Bhuvaneshwar. It is addressed by various names like Bhuvaneshwara or Ekamraka Kshetra. Ekamraka Kshetra, Amraka means mango. So Eka means one. So one mango tree, the place where there is only one mango tree. It is also known as Hemachala and it is also known as Sarvanadri Kshetra. So being requested by some sages, Vyasa Bhagwan, Srila Vyasa Dev, he revealed the glories of this Kshetra, that is Ekamraka Kshetra. This place has been known as Ekamraka Kshetra long ago because there was only one huge mango tree there. Eka Amraka. Amraka means mango. And in that place, there are 10 million Shivlingas and 8 Tirthas in this place. This place is superior to Varanasi and is more dear to Shambhu, the best of the Vaishnavas. Therefore, it is known as Gupta Kashi. Now, this entire pastime is also then explained. So, first, Prabhupada Saraswati gives the geographical place that in Orissa, on the shore of the Southern Ocean, there is a river named as Gandhavati, and this river is non-different from the river Ganga. And this transcendental abode, Ekamraka Tirtha, is situated on the bank of this Ganga. And this place is more pleasing to Lord Shiva than Kailash. So there, it spreads over 3 yojanas, that is 24 miles. So 1 yojan is around approximately 8 miles. So 8 miles of this place is worshipable to demigods, and 2 miles of this place was covered by the shade of that mango tree. Therefore, this place was known as Ekamraka place, Kshetra. Since time immemorial, at this place, pious persons have taken bath, they have chanted mantras, offered prayers, performed abhishek, and offered prayers, and Lord has also accepted, and they have accepted prasada garlands. So this has already been mentioned. In the Sarvanadri Mahodaya, that is one of the Purana, it is one of the scripture, it is stated that Lord Purushottama, he is the maintainer of this place. So the Supreme Lord is the maintainer of this place, and the eternal Supreme Brahman is eternally present in this place in the form of a linga, that is Tribhuvaneshwara. So this linga is not of Shivalinga, but it is the Supreme Lord Purushottama who is present in the form of a linga. So, according to the statement, Lingayate Jnate Yasmat, the Supreme Brahman resides in the state of Orissa in the form of Linga, within a great sacred golden mountain surrounded by the demigods. And since Narayan personally protects this place with a chakra and a club in his hands, he is the Kshetrapal, or the protector of this place. It is further stated in the Sarvanatri Mahodaya that Lord Ananta or Vasudeva personally protects this place with a chakra and a club in his hands. Pious activities performed without first taking darshan of Sri Ananta Vasudev yield no results. So first they have to go and worship this Ananta Vasudev. Only those who have unflinching devotion for Lord Sri Ananta Vasudev are able to attain the mercy of Sri Bhuvaneshwar, who is very dear to Ananta Vasudev. So he is present in the form of a linga, but he is not Shankar, he is not Shambhu. Who is he? He is the Supreme Brahman. When Bhuvaneshwari, Bhagavati, that means the Sati or Parvati, wife, the consort of Lord Shiva, heard from the mouth of Shambhu the glories of Ekamraka Tirtha, which is superior to Varanasi, she expressed a desire to visit that place. Shambhu then told his wife, "You first go there alone and I will meet you there later." So he said that you first go and I will join you. As soon as she got the permission from her husband, she rode on her lion carrier, and soon she arrived at Sarvanadri. When she arrived there, she saw that it was indeed more pleasing than Kailash. She saw a great linga that was emanating white and black effulgence. This Bhavani or Bhuvaneshwari began to worship with that great linga with all the ingredients. One day after Bhagavati or Bhuvaneshwari had gone to another forest to pick some flowers, she returned and she saw 1,000 cows as white as jasmine flowers. They come out of the lake and begin to lavishly bathe that great linga with the milk. And after circumambulating the linga, they returned to where they had come from. When she saw the same incident on another occasion, she became very curious to know. Then she took the form of a cowherd girl and began to follow those cows. This way, she passed 15 years on this planet. While wandering in that forest one day, two young demon brothers. And what were their names? Kriti and Vasa. They became captivated by the unprecedented beauty of that girl, because she is none other than Parvati, and expressed to her their self-destructive, wicked intentions to enjoy her. Sati immediately disappeared from the sight of these two demons and remembered the lotus feet of Shambhu. As soon as Sati remembered, Bhagavati remembered Mahadev, Mahadev immediately took the form of a cowherd boy and appeared before the cowherd girl form of Sati. Sati, in the form of a cowherd girl, offered obeisances to Shambhu, who had taken the form of a cowherd boy. Mahadev said, "O Sati, I understand why you remembered me, and there is no need to feel any anxiety. By the will of the Supreme Lord, these two demons have expressed wicked intentions to you to invite their own reunification, because they will be ruined now. Let me explain their history." So now Mahadev is giving the history of these two demons. That is, their name is what was their name? Even I lost it. Yeah, it was Kriti and Vasa. Kriti and Vasa. So Mahaprabhu said, oh no, Mahadev said, I will tell you their history. So Mahaprabhu is now narrating the history of Kriti and Vasa to Sati. And he's saying that once there was a king. His name was Drumila. And he performed many sacrifices, and he pleased the demigods. The demigods gave him the benediction that he would have two sons, Kriti and Vasa. So who will have? Drumila. He was the king who helped, who performed many sacrifices and pleased the demigods. So demigods gave him the benediction that he will have two sons, namely Kriti and Vasa, who would not be killed by any weapons. So now Lord Shiva is saying, by the will of the Supreme Lord, you have to kill these two sinful demons, because they cannot be killed by any weapons. So being ordered by her husband, Sati began to wander about within the forest in the form of a cowherd girl. And within a short time, she again met these two demons, Kriti and Vasa. To deceive them, Sati said to the two demon brothers, "Oh, I can fulfill all your desires. You want to enjoy me? I am ready. But I have a condition. I will become the wife of he who will carry me on his shoulder. So if you carry me on your shoulders, then I will fulfill all your desires and I will become your wife." On hearing Sati's statement, these two intoxicated brothers, Kriti and Vasa, they began to quarrel among themselves that who is going to carry Sati and who will be going to accept Sati as their wife. Then Sati, in her form of cowherd girl, placed her 2 feet on the shoulders of the two brothers. She says, "Don't fight. Together you both can carry me." And she placed her 2 feet on the shoulders of the two brothers and assumed the form of Vishwambhari as the Mahamaya. She assumed the form of Vishwambhari. Now, who has the power to carry the heavy burden of Vishwambhari? So what happened? By the weight of Sati, the two demons were crushed and destroyed. So because they were given this boon that they will not be killed by any weapons, so it is by the weight of Sati, the two demons were crushed and destroyed. So this Puranic incident concludes by stating that since that time, Sati and Shambhu, the husband of Sati, left that golden temple in Kashi, in Varanasi, and have been living in this Ekamraka forest. And therefore, this place is known as Gupta Kashi. And it is very dear to Lord Shiva. So what we will do is we will stop here. I know I ended quite early today, because next verse, it has a very, very long purport, because the story doesn't end here. Yes, these two demons, Kriti and Vasi, they were killed. But after that, what happened and how Sati came into her original form, that we will see in text number 308. And it has a very long purport and I cannot finish in 10-15 minutes. So I thought we'll end up early so that on Monday we can continue with this pastime. So, yeah, thank you so much. So, we'll stop. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, yes, I'm seeing Preeti Mataji raising her hand. Mataji, please go ahead.
Very well. Thank you so much. I was waiting for your class for quite some time. Thank you. And Mataji, I don't know because I've not heard the full story. Maybe the next verse will be more explicit. But my doubt here is kind of I'm just playing the devil's advocate, but I'm trying to understand this purport. And I see that there is just a mention that this linga is the supreme Brahman, but the point is, isn't it still a Shivalinga? Meaning, how can it be Vishnu? That is my question. Supreme Brahman can sometimes also mean Shiva in his potency of being an expansion of the Lord. So, why do you call it Vishnu? That is my question. Because does the next purport explain that it was really
Yeah,
Vishnu?
next purport will explain that it's Vishnu only
Oh.
in the form of a linga present there.
There, oh, okay. Because while you were talking, I was just looking up about the temple, and the people are worshipping him as Lord Shiva, right? The people who go there. Okay. So basically, the commentary is teaching us that it is
Yes,
not.
it's that it's a supreme Lord only, and there beside that there is another temple of Shankara.
Mm.
So in that temple, what happens is the remnants of this linga goes there, and
Oh,
they have been offered to Lord Shankara.
wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, that completes the puzzle. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting class. Hari bol.
Okay, so yes, Shivani Mataji, go ahead. Shivani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble. Are you able to hear me, Mataji?
Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
please
sorry.
accept my
Yeah.
humble obeisances, Mataji. Thank you for starting the class by glorifying Bhavan Dev and Sri Jiva Goswami. He was a nephew of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Even though he was the youngest Goswami, but such highly revered scholar he was. And he also established Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, as you mentioned. Shiva Jiva Goswami ji ki jai. Also, thank you for sharing the beautiful story of Sakshi Gopal. So, Mataji, you said he was in Vidyanagar, and then after the king
Into
begged
Cuttack.
him, okay, then he went to Cuttack. So he's still in Cuttack now.
Yeah, he's still in Cuttack.
Oh, okay, okay. Also, thank you for sharing the beautiful story about the two pundits that you said that they get paid. I didn't know that. I mean, you
Yeah.
should serve selflessly to the lordship, but you're just telling us that they get paid to do the service.
And they do it as their job,
Yeah,
not as service, but as a job.
so there's no bhav there then. There's
There's
no
no
bhav.
bhav. Bhav may or may not be there. We are nobody to comment on that. But point is that they come as a job. They do their job and they go.
Yeah. And also you mentioned like people at home, we don't know we're not that clean. We don't know all the mantras like the pandits
Yes.
know in the temple. So as this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is given to us by not by his only Mahaprabhu, that is the highest and the purest of all. So if we chant that, that will benefit us more than anything at all. And also you mentioned about serving the deities that we have at home. When we don't serve them properly, we get that's an offense. So thank you for a very beautiful class. Hare Krishna and Dharma Pranams.
Thank you. Shivani. Yes, Yashomati Priya Mataji, you can take over.
Yeah, and I also like the story of the nose ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hari bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Such a wonderful class. All glorification of Sakshi Gopal, all glorification of Vaman Bhagwan. and glorification of Sri Jiva Goswami. So nice class and such a nice story of each and everyone. Each story is so nice to know about that. The uh, God give the dream to the queen, and then she just did the pull of the nose of the ring of the Lord.
Or
Very
that
nice.
nose
Yeah,
ring.
nose ring. Yeah, so nice story, and it's very very beautiful class. Nice to hear more and more from you, your lotus mouth, Mataji, all the things. Such a very beautiful class, and whatever the other summary, Shivani Mataji, she is done. So I don't need to say anything no more. So thank you very much, Mataji. If your permission, shall we end the call?
Oh, Mataji, sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Mataji, for very, very beautiful class today and so many good stories to know. And we are very, very grateful to you all. Glories to you all. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your class. We look forward to your association again in future very soon. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Bhagawat ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Vaman Bhagwan ki
Jai.
jai.
Rajiv,
Her Grace,
Shri
Her
Jiva
Grace,
Jai.
Kirtida
Goswami
Sundari
ki
Devi Dasi
jai.
Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Mataji.
Dandavat
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna
Dhanyavad.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Dandavat.